What's happening? It's Alejandro here over at Urban Athlete Fitness Studio here in Calgary, Alberta. And today I want to talk to you guys about the seated row, or rowing in general. Now, before we can jump onto the movement itself or the exercise itself, I think it's important to note that it requires one thing in particular to really be successful with the movement, and that is a separation of the shoulder blades and a bringing together of the shoulder blades. So a protraction and a retraction. So essentially, right, if you think of yourself like standing nice and tall, right through the rib cage, or keep the rib cage in, and like setting your spine to be nice and straight, one way to do this is like taking a bar and place it on your back. But you basically want to stand tall, right, keep the chin tucked in, and think of like separating, almost like you're hugging, and then retract and bring everything together. Protract and then retract. That's really where this row is going to come from. It's going to stem from this action. So it's good to note that you want to have good mobility of your shoulder blades before we can just jump and move itself. And I'm going to give you another option too that you can do for pulling that basically requires the same thing, but I guess you could say it has a little bit more focus on the core. So yeah, I'll see you on the gym floor and we'll just take a look.
Okay, this is the weight stack for the seated row here. And in terms of finding the weight for you, it's gonna vary, but it should challenge you. So at the end of your set, whether you happen to do 10, 15, or 12 reps, whatever order you pick, you should be able to do at least 2 more reps after the fact. Now, handle selection for this is also gonna vary. There's lots of variants, but we're just gonna stick with the close grip variant here. And so you can stick with something like this metal handle, which is a bit strict, but it actually can make it easy if you haven't done too much rowing before, or we could use 2 separate handles. You could say it's more advanced, but really I just think it's good if you want to get a little more range of motion through your shoulder blades as you row. So once you pick your handle, you're going to want to place your feet into those footholds there, kind of press into them a bit, right? You want to stand up nice and tall. Well, stand up nice and tall. You want to extend the spine as much as you can, right? Make sure your rib cage is tucked in, the lumbar spine is nice and straight, shoulder blades are locked back. The importance of locking the shoulder blades back is, I'd say it's pretty high, because you want your shoulder blades to be stable before you can start moving them around, right? So as you lock them back, as you row, that initiation is going to occur through the shoulder blades, so you want them to squeeze together, but then you also want them to separate as you stretch your arms out and you let the weight go forward, but not too much, right? You do want that stretch, but you also want to let the shoulder blades stay in place. So once you find that, you're going to focus a lot on just bringing the shoulder blades in towards each other and squeeze the mid back. Now your range of motion here, you could row in as much as you want, but I find that it's really going to come down to you feeling the mid back. So if you feel it, you don't need to pull in any further than that. Now you got lots of other options for rows, like there's so many different variants, right? I like this version, the standing row. It challenges your abdominals a little bit more than maybe the seated row. Both will definitely challenge your abs or your core. But before you actually start rowing, not like this guy here, what is he doing? You want to make sure you pick a weight before you get going, otherwise you'll just fall over. So make sure you place your feet, lock them into place, like grip the ground if you can, bend the hips, bend the knees, make sure the torso is nice and extended. So same principles apply here. Rib cage is going to be tucked in, shoulder blades are going to roll back into place. Your core is going to work harder to just keep yourself upright while you fight this resistance, but same idea. You want that eccentric phase, or that lengthening, or the separation of shoulder blades, and then you want to bring them together. And that's that. We got 2 rowing variants for you, a seated and a standing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.